Okay, ready when you are.
Sure. Good evening, everybody. My name is Nicholas Lara, and my name is Kumar Vairaj. And today we're going to be giving a quick presentation, very high level, on the social media advertising gamble and why you should look at potentially increasing your investment into the social media platforms. So to start off, first we're going to throw some data at you. Slide can be a bit overwhelming, but what we're trying to really derive here, if you take a quick look, is that these are all the industries, kind of all the vertical markets across the board. And if you notice, this is kind of a year-over-year comparison from 2008 to 2009 August. And what this slide is really trying to show you is that overall, almost every vertical across the board in the past year has almost doubled, and in some cases tenfold increased their investment in social media and social media platforms. So you may be asking, what's the reason for this trend? Why is this kind of the trend across the board here? So if we go to the next slide, again, this is kind of going year over year. We can go to the next one. And kind of by percentage here. Go to the next. So lots of breakdowns, lots of kind of ambiguous data here. But overall, there's a few select reasons of why vertical markets would increase investment in social platforms. So one, let's go to this slide. Okay, so what changed? What happened in 2008 to 2009 that would lead all these markets to increase investment? Well, for starters, internet access year over year continues to grow, not just in the U.S. but globally. As more people adopt internet into their homes, into their businesses, access to the web becomes more readily available. You have more users, more of your target audience is going to be online and connected. We also have better services being offered from the service providers. So you have 4G networks, you have LTE speeds. People are able to connect faster and and their access points are more available. You can go to a McDonald's or a Starbucks now, anywhere you are, and connect to online. Now, in order to connect online in general, you're going to need devices, right? So you have companies like Apple, like Samsung, where you have all these emerging markets of increased smartphone access. People are now having more connected devices in their hand. There's new form factors such as tablets, ultrabooks, laptops, all different devices that are always connected, being sold into the consumer market. So you, again, just kind of increasing your overall target audience. Not only that, social media is becoming more prevalent. Where at first, a few years ago, we maybe only had 1 or 2 platforms. Now we have maybe 5 or 6 platforms. And those 5 or 6 platforms have over 30, 40 million users. So you're having more increased presence not only in the platforms, but the people using these applications and these services. And social media, again, almost instantly, thanks to the phenomenon that is the internet and the web, you have access to a majority of your target audience versus before, where maybe you were only limited to how many mailers you can mail out, right, for an advertisement. Now you can reach anyone, anywhere, globally, instantaneous, for a much lower cost than you could before. Next slide. So what does it all mean? So all of these markets, all of these competitors, automobiles, entertainment, etc., all these markets are already know that this is the trend. We see this happening. Rather than be a reactive organization, we want to definitely be a proactive organization and ride this industry trend and this wave. So it's not a matter of ROI, how much am I going to get on my investment for web, right? Because advertising expenses in general are how many customers you're going to engage. But to be competitive in this landscape, you're going to have a lot of your businesses now, whether they're small or large, everyone's going to be competing on this platform, on this landscape here. And just to be competitive from an organizational standpoint, you're going to have to increase your web presence, you're going to have to get online, and you're going to have to be able to reach these customers, because if you're not doing it, your competitor definitely is. So with that, I'm going to open it up to some questions. Or you can clap.
Excellent. Comments for this team? All right, what was their conclusion? What was the main point of their presentation? Yeah? Yeah, I think there was. Internet spending is increasing across the board, and you should invest. I think that was pretty clear and well presented. They can you go back to that first slide with text that you had on it? So at the top of the sorry, forward. Yes. So what changed at the top? We knew how that was all categorized. And then go to the next slide, please. What does it all mean? I think those are good posts that kept us focused on their conclusion. What did we think of the visual aids they chose to support their conclusion? Excited.
I think that part wasn't presented well. That's why they skipped over it. It wasn't useful.
Yeah, it wasn't useful. So why might it not have been useful?
You spent too much on the big chart and didn't use the graphs to illustrate our point as effectively.
Yeah, so their point was everything increased across the board, but their visual aids were, let's look at these 13 different industries, which is not really what you spoke to. So it just didn't supplement it as well. That's the only thing I'm going to pick on. Otherwise, great job. Fantastic. Team Renew.
You want support? I will open support you.
Can you work the computer since we don't have a PowerPoint?
Yeah.
Start with the first slide. Start from sheet 1, and then I'll ask you. Okay.
Yeah, we did. No, you can just present the graphs. Yeah. And this
All right. So you're all in the marketing. You're all in marketing. You are paired up, and you each represent different segments of the marketing team for us. These are our sales, 2008 versus 2009. Okay. All right. Team, we're gonna keep this short and get right to the point. 2008 recession started. It was a bad year, and 2009 hasn't been any better. So does anybody believe they're going to be able to walk into their clients this year and tell them they should spend more money on marketing while everything is going poorly? It's just probably not going to happen, right? So the way we're going to make our sales numbers this year is we're going to find the folks who are spending least on social media, and we're going to get those folks to go to our cost-effective solution so they can hit more people for the same dollars. Real quick, there's no point in going through by industry and growth percentage year over year. There's no point for us to go and hit entertainment, travel, and the business-to-business community. They've already got a significant shift in their budget from 2008 to 2009. They don't have a lot of dollars for us. We want to be concentrating on this long tail at the end. Last year, the average, by industry, the average was 119% increase. Anybody below the bottom line is increasing their social media spend by less than the average. Those are our targets. We want to go out and figure out how to get them to convert their TV dollars to media dollars, and we are going to use our proven sales strategy of convincing them that $1 of social media spend is worth $3, where their TV dollar only buys them $1.25. So we are going to go out there and we are going to hit retail, hardware, equipment, financial services, and consumer goods. Those are our targets in 2010. That's who we want to get, and we will win. We will make our revenue numbers this year by getting them to convert more of their sales dollars over to our media. Thank you.
Excellent. Great job. Comments for this team? So what was the conclusion? Yeah, these are the specific teams we should target, and why should we, or specific industries we should target, and why should we target these industries? They're not spending enough. That was clear from the beginning. Well maintained. Yeah. Any thoughts? I mean, the graph seemed to work. Anything else they could have done with the graph or visual aid to support that conclusion?
Use an animation there. It's a circle and one for the bottom or something.
Yeah.
I was trying to do it with the mouse.
I think this was in terms of the exercise, the goal I asked you to do, it was right on. You did exactly what I wanted you to do. The only thought I had while I was listening to it is you mentioned that you want to target those industries. Or wait, no, you said the ones that have already increased by a significant percentage, they don't have a lot of dollars for us. And I'm thinking like, well, but they spent so much money on it, maybe they do have a lot of dollars for you. So that was distracting me a little bit. And these, I was thinking as I heard that maybe a better way to frame, or a different way to frame the conclusion, not necessarily better, would be the industries on the left-hand side have already seen the light. The industries on the right-hand side have not quite seen the light. But that's just nitpicking on the details. All right. Any other thoughts? All right, let's move on to the next team. Do you see last one? Yes, that's great. I love it. We've got I'm using infrared pointer as necessary.
Hello everyone, my name is Alex Torresano. My team and I will be presenting on the increase in spend on the social media advertisement across industries when comparing 2009 data versus August 2008 data. So from this chart here, we have listed the industries on the bottom axis and their relative percentage increase on the vertical axis. And from what we see here, we can see that entertainment and travel increased by far the most in relative terms. Entertainment increased 800%. Travel increased more than 300%. And then we also see the automotive industry followed right after that. So the key takeaways from this slide is that we see that the industries that were impacted the most by the recession, they ramped up their spending the most in 2009. This would tell us that they're expecting their revenue to increase as well. Being as though they were affected the most, they're now trying to capture more of the revenue that they lost through increasing spending in social media. Another key takeaway that we see here is that advertisement itself is very much related to the changes in the economy. So as the economy goes in an upward trend, we'll see that across all industries, more spending will occur for advertisement, and the advertising industry should be positively affected by that change. Another key takeaway here is that in terms of investment, if anyone is trying to invest, we see which industries feel the most confident as far as spending and as far as getting revenue sales. So another key takeaway would be that the entertainment, travel, automotive, and even advertising business would be good places to look for in terms of investment in 2009. That's all we have. Does anyone have any questions?
All right, good. Comments for this team? Nick?
Kind of off a little too much towards increasing.
Oh yeah. So just in terms of the physicality,
Okay.
Alex was talking to his slide. And another thing I'll mention while we're on.
This way, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I noticed that after a while.
Yeah.
He's right there. I think it is.
And another couple interesting things. He's positioned to the left of the slides, which is something we went over. But in this case, see how much of a difference does that make? Just turning his body language to us. All right, that is a little bit more powerful. But even with that, with standing in this corner with this big of a visual aid, it just looked like he was lost in the corner there. Looked like he was just an insignificant part of this presentation. Combined with the fact that he had his back to us, he just wasn't able to engage us with that physicality, which was too bad because there were some interesting concepts. And this is just why we're taking this course. It's how do we impress our audience with what is important by not letting some of these physicality issues get in our way. So that was a couple notes on presentation physicality. How about the content of what he was saying? What was the site?
There was some interesting stuff. Like I liked some of the points he made, like talking about the fact that, like, entertainment and travel were the most affected by the recession, but they're the most investing now. The only problem that I had though with the content, there was a lot of interesting nuggets in there, but there wasn't a solid like, here's what you should do now. It was like, here's a bunch of recommendations for you guys. You kind of choose whichever one makes sense for you. So at the end, I kind of left with nothing, except for a bunch of cool information.
Sure. Nick? Okay. Lack of clarity. Nick?
One thing was, I think the data is for social media spending, but from the slide I wouldn't know it had anything to do with social media because it just looks like investment.
Okay. Yeah, so let me talk about the slide in a minute, because there was some really good stuff about the way Alex presented that slide, and he effectively used the tape method. But in terms of the conclusion, I mentioned at the beginning, this is the trap. The trap is there's so much interesting stuff that if you try to list it all, you just sound like someone who's standing up here listing data. And so thank you for being the guinea pigs here who fell into the trap for us to give us an opportunity to think about that. I think there were 3 different key takeaways you had, and I think, to be honest, I didn't really clearly understand any of the 3. I think the first one was something about revenue increasing as a result, or they were expecting revenue to increase as a result, which I was a little unclear about. And then the other 2, I just wasn't clear about. So I think if you had focused on just one and said, let me explain that clearly, then it would have helped your presentation significantly. But what I want to say, in terms of how you presented that, I was able to follow the graph. He set it up very well. This is the first time we saw this percentage increase, I think. Maybe the first presentation we had a brief look at percentage. But the way he set it up just prepared me for it. He explained the axes, and he explained what the data in the middle meant. So we could clearly see entertainment and travel were the biggest ones. So we're waiting for some clear takeaway that's going to show us how those 2 tall bars are important. So great job setting it up, but again, you fell into the understandable trap of, I think, trying to present too much. And this is just a great example for us to learn from. So thank you. Good work. All right, let's do a quick presentation here. This team. Fantastic. All right, we've got a infrared thing pointer if you need.
Alright, hi everyone. Thanks for coming. We work for a social media company and we want to see where we want to target our business development efforts for the next year. So our team has put together a chart, and this chart shows the spending that happened and difference in spending between August 2008 and August 2009. So this is a laser. So the y-axis shows the percentage growth. So it's the difference between the numbers. And you all have the handout that you got with the table. So this describes the numbers are converted into chart here. And then the x-axis has all the different industries. And when we look at these numbers, we see that, from the business development side, the top 2 industries that have really increased their spending over the last year is the entertainment industries and the travel. So I think for our company, from the business development side, we should target those 2 because it's a much bigger pie and the funds are moving in that direction. In addition, as a 2-pronged approach, what we should also do is these other industries who have not, this is the line here, the red line, 119 is the average growth when we look at the in compared to the average. So we should also target, if you look at these are more like retail industries, hardware, retail, consumer goods. So as the second part of our strategy, we should also target those industries because they have, they will have more room to grow and put money in social media.
Awesome. Great work. Really pretty slide, right? Captures our attention, and it's clear. Just like we talked about from the last presentation, we've got two visually huge bars. That's going to draw our attention, so tell us what that means. Only problem I had with your conclusion was we should target these two industries because there's a bigger pie. Is that true? This is just percent differences. If you want the bigger pie, you're going to have somebody in the back room saying, wait a minute, that's just a very small pie. If we want the bigger pie, we want to look at the raw numbers. So I think if you wanted to say, let's go for the bigger pie, then you should have used the graph that shows the raw number increase. The only thing, because you don't want that analyst in the back of the room saying, wait a minute, that's not logical. So you just want to avoid that. But that's the only comment I would make. Great meeting you all. Look forward to seeing your technical presentations next week. Email me if you have any questions. Hope you don't mind I kept you right till 9:30. We'll do the same thing next week, and then after that, we'll have a little bit more time to breathe. But look forward to seeing you next week.
Thank you. Thanks.
Only one slide.